When we think of video games, we often think of quests to be completed, enemies to be defeated, challenges to be overcome, achievements to be achieved. And while virtually all games have some sort of target, a goal for the player to reach, the way players approach this goal is unique to every game style, to every person. While it is true that there is no right or wrong way to play a video game, there are different ways to play that work best for some people over others, and slow gaming has transformed my way of playing video games, making it much more enjoyable than it previously was. There are many benefits to slow gaming, but first things first, roll the intro. Enjoying a game is not always an easy task. This may sound odd at first. After all, we play games to have fun. It is not uncommon that a gaming session feels tasteless, boring, if not even tiring, defeating the point of playing video games in the first place. I am not the only one that struggles to play a game on rare occasions. Even when times allow it, it happens that I spend it binging shorts rather than enjoying a good gaming afternoon. You might have had a similar experience to mine, or perhaps are even having one this very week. But why do we struggle sometimes to find enjoyment from video games? Playing a video game is a bit of a unique hobby when compared to similar activities. Sometimes we make the mistake of approaching games with the same passiveness as we approach TV series or YouTube videos. Playing a game requires energy, and after a long day at school or at work, we might feel too tired to tackle a challenge in the digital world. And that's where slow gaming comes into play. When I found about this style of gaming, I was skeptical, but I soon realized that not only it fitted me well, but it made my gaming experience much more enjoyable, much closer to the enjoyment I felt when playing video games after school. But what is slow gaming to begin with? As the name suggests, it's playing the game at a slower rhythm, less frenetic, playing the game not as a sprint race but as a marathon. But don't be fooled, I'm not here to suggest you play farming simulators, city building games or something like that. Slow gaming is a gaming style, not a game genre. Slow gaming can be applied to virtually all single-player titles, from Mafia to Mirror's Edge Catalyst, from Monster Hunter Worlds to Mario Odyssey. Sure, there are games better suited than others. It is easier to play your Truck Simulator 2 to a slower rhythm than Celeste, but the concept of slow gaming can be applied almost everywhere, and it can drastically increase the enjoyment you get out of a game. In today's video, I wish to share with you some examples of how slow gaming has increased the enjoyment of various games and how this gaming style has changed for the better my gaming experience. Of course, being a gaming style, it would be pointless to bring too many examples, so I'll rather focus on 3 games of 3 different genres: open worlds, strategy games, and sports titles, starting off with the first one. When playing a big open world game, either an RPG or an action adventure, it comes natural to try to optimize one's path. You want to find the best weapon, you aim at increasing your character's level as soon as possible, you rush to loot everything that is lootable in a dungeon and an enemy inventory. Why would you, after all, waste time at prolonging the adventure? Games these days can already last for 50 or more hours. It's better to play 3 rounds rather than 1, right? At first, this may sound as a reasonable approach, and it is hard to objectively disprove it. Yet let me ask you one question. What is the game that you most remember? The one that you have the best memory of playing in your gaming journey? For me, the answer is easy, and to you lovely subscribers who follow this channel for a while might already know the answer. My favorite game is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The praises I have for the game are endless, and I have addressed them countless times. Yet one thing in particular that I have to highlight is that the way I played Zelda was a bit unusual when compared to titles like Fallout New Vegas and The Witcher 3. These 2 latter games I have played and enjoyed, yes, but I remember getting a bit tired sometimes to play them, as if they became more of a job than a hobby. The quests in these games felt endless, and the more quests I've completed and the more I had to do, backtracking to find all missing quests along the way. The games basically became to-do lists. When I played Zelda Breath of the Wild, I virtually never checked the markers, and hardly ever saw what quests I had in my log. All activities I planned to do when booting up the game were just what I felt like doing. Sometimes I would search and complete shrines, some other times I would carry on with the main quest, sometimes I would find secrets, and some more I would just chill and fool around. The way I played Zelda might have not been the most efficient. In 1 hour of game, I may have achieved half of what I would have if I followed the pin on the map in a straight line, yet the enjoyment I have of the game is much greater. Playing Zelda was truly a memorable adventure. And this is the main point of slow gaming. Playing a game in a less optimal way can feel much more liberating than trying to rush adventure. If rather than speaking only to characters with exclamation marks above their head, you start speaking to regular NPCs, you might find out more about the world building and the complexity it has. Rather than to follow a compass in a straight line, open your eyes, find different paths, and admire the world and its beauty. Strategy games notoriously take quite a lot of time to play, and the more you play them and the more you wish to skip the boring parts and move on to the action. Burnouts of such games are quite common. I've played 400 hours of Hearts of Iron 4, and just thinking of doing a new campaign gives me a headache. A game that however does not have this effect on me is Sid Meier's Civilization 6, or rather, it used to have it slightly, but when I changed my way of playing to a slow gaming experience, it made the game much more replayable and enjoyable. Before, I used to play this game in the quickest time setting, since I did not wish to take like 30 turns to build my first worker. I felt like it was a waste of time and overall pointless if there was a quicker way. Yet when I first gave the marathon option a shot, I was blown away. When playing the game too quickly, I ended up with like 4 cities in a modern age, while now I was able to build a long-lasting empire earlier, taking advantage of every scientific discovery. Keep in mind that while research and building takes more turn, unit movements do not, and activities like founding new cities take the same time. This means that a slower campaign allows the player to make his or her own nation much more complex, filled with structures, wonders and troops. No longer you skip ages without even realizing. Now every small advantage can truly make the difference in the long run. Slowing the game down and making every campaign last longer, with a more gradual growth rather than the rush experienced before, made me appreciate the game considerably more. Yes, maybe I will be playing fewer campaigns. After all, the time I have in my hands is the same. But those campaigns will truly feel epic. They will feel like a life's work, rather than a burnout cigarette. The slower the game got, the better it became. The concept of slow gaming does not only apply to open world or strategy games, but as stated earlier, in games of every genre, including some you may not think about when thinking about slow gaming. In sport titles, there is often the option for a quick match or a more prolonged one. In football games, for instance, this is the duration in minutes of a match, while in racing games like Formula 1, this correlates to laps raced over a selected circuit. The Formula 1 series, developed by Codemasters, has the option to make quick 5-lap races, an accessible way to experience a race in about 10 minutes of gameplay. At first I chose this option frequently, since I wanted to experience as many races as possible, but when I changed the setting to longer races, initially 25% and then later to 50 to 75 depending on the circuit, it transformed the game in a way I did not anticipate. Elements like pit stop strategies and tire management started to play a role, and each race was much more impactful than the shorter ones. No longer did I rely on pure luck on the first few corners. No, this time I could truly build up something over a prolonged race. Closing a gap between yourself and the driver in front lap after lap to finally surpass them gave me much more satisfaction than doing it just for the first 20 seconds of the race. Build-up is key to make an amazing moment memorable. There are studies that suggest that binge-watching a series will give less satisfaction in the long run than to watch it little by little over time. The reason is the same. If something is rushed, the build-up will be missed, and the positive impact will stick less with the audience. As usual, all studies need to be taken with a pinch of salt, but there is definitely some truth to them. Careers where I've done fewer but longer races are much more impactful than random scenes casually run. I might not complete many, that's true, but the build-up of playing few races a day over weeks to finally achieve your personal goal can only be achieved with slow gaming. Racing is about speed, but paradoxically, quicker matches are the ones that give the least satisfaction. There are many ways to play a game. Their completion is to enjoy achieving all game's objectives, whether they are primary or secondary. There are some others who enjoy speedrunning titles like There Is No Tomorrow, sharpening their skills by grinding various techniques. But there are some others who enjoy playing games in a different way, a less frenetic way that its main objective is having none. Slow gaming is a gaming style I suggest you all to try, since it can be key to truly enjoy a game in the long run. It may take longer to complete a game, but it will surely increase your enjoyment of the game in hand. There are countless more titles where the same principle applies, from Advance Wars to Yakuza 5, but I will let you pick a game to play, slowly. If you made it this far, I wanted to thank you one too many slow gaming times for watching today's video. Today's topic was a bit unusual, but I wanted to talk about gaming from another point of view for a change. I hope you enjoyed it, and do let me know if you do start playing games slowly and what is your experience. As usual, I invite you to leave this video a like, to share it and to subscribe for more. I wish you all a wonderful day, and until next time, arrivederci!